Sissy. Sissy, you were always a bit of a goer, weren't you? From my own observations, years ago, of course, I'd say you liked rough trade. Am I right?
Please, Wilfred, I've asked politely.
Stagehands, electricians seem to be your fancy. You weren't too keen on your fellow artists. You weren't too keen on me or Reggie there. Though they do say you blew Frank White's flute once or twice. Or bugger. I tell you this. You ought to have coupled with me in those far-off days, beyond recall. Can't say I'd made the wild geese fly, but oh, we would have enjoyed ourselves, that is for sure. I fancied you then, and oh, I fancy you now.
Do stop it, Wilfred. You're beginning to repeat yourself. You've been on about the wild geese all week.
Yes, I know, but I can't help it. Talking dirty to Sissy excites me. And these days it's the only thing that does. The truth is, Reg, I think about sex all bloody day and all bloody night. I should be past it, but I'm not. You suppose I'm peculiar? I can't see a woman without undressing her. Imagining myself doing unspeakable things to her, or the other way around. Even the matron. That just shows how desperate I am. Trouble with Sissy was she liked a bit of grit and grime in the wings before a big aria. I was too refined for her. And we all know what was good for the voice, don't we, Sissy?
You're disgusting, Wilfred. I'd like you to stop.
They're not obliged to consult us. They run the place, not us.
Reggie is right. We come and go. They go on forever. And when we join the heavenly choir, someone takes our room. That's just the way of things. Lawrence Timms left these shores a month ago and is now, probably as we speak, singing a duet with Maria Callas. We knew he'd be replaced. We all talked about it.
There are always old departures and new arrivals. A profit must be made. No need to fret.
So glad, Reggie, that you're safely back from Karachi. Did I tell you I received a cheque for the barber? I'm going to find out who the new arrival is.
Why Karachi?
I've no idea.
Is she relatives there?
Well, her father was Indian Army. Last week she was welcoming me back from Butley Salter.
You certainly get about. She's becoming rather batty, you know. I worry about her. We don't want her sent away.
No, heaven forbid.
Dear Sissy. Face is still that of a child, unlined and innocent, and a smile lightens up the darkest room. When I first saw her, God knows how many years ago, I thought she was the sexiest thing I'd ever clapped my eye on. Big and bountiful. And oh my God, she was a busy girl, at it all the time. I tried, didn't ever need luck. She was having it away with a scene painter from Bethnal Green. You really think she had a cheque for the barber?
Oh, probably.
Who's the Figaro?
Dylan Morgan.
Bloody fine. I remember the production, the recording sessions, everything. As if it was just yesterday, and yet I can't remember what we had for breakfast this morning.
I said, don't mention breakfast.
Quartet's never been better sung.
Have you listened to it?
No. Odd that. Didn't want to. Didn't want to hear myself young again. Have you listened?
No, for other reasons.
Oh yes. Of course. That was clumsy of me. Sorry I raised it. Dizzy Heights, those days, eh? Brit, rivals, Gobby, front page, Daily Mail, picture of me with the caption, Wilfred Bond, a new star, question mark. Question mark I thought somewhat unnecessary. But, as it turned out in the circumstances, alas, accurate.
Yes, I remember the fuss.
I was famous for a day. Or was it a week? Fickle finger of fashion. Well, I made a living and that's all I ever wanted. I've no sensitivity. That's my problem. Not like you. You're an artist. I'm an artisan.
Your real trouble, Will, is that you've always sold yourself short. You sometimes have the most amazing insights. I mean that.
Well, what a good friend you are.
I saw her as large as life and twice as terrifying.
Who, for God's sake?
You're never going to believe this. Oh, damn, what's her name?
Oh, Sissy.
It's gone. Wait a minute, it'll come back. Begins with a G.
G. A woman. Oh, come on, let's think.
Soprano, famous.
Famous soprano beginning with G. Gallicurci?
No, she's dead, isn't she?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. Come on, Sissy, think.
Gilda. Our Gilda.
Oh, G, yes. Our Gilda. You mean Jean Horton.
Yes, of course, how clever of you, Jean Horton.
Jean Horton. Here. Good God. You all right, old son?
G. Here? Are you sure?
Certain. Il Duce was showing her around. He was basking in reflected glory. He looked like a bull mastiff that had just been told they weren't going to have him neutered after all.
G. Here?
Steady on, old son, steady on.
But how could they do this without informing me? Surely they were aware. It's intolerable.
Did I tell you I received a cheque from my Rosina in the barber?
It's monstrous.
No, it wasn't that big.
After you, didn't she marry Freddie Milton?
Yes, and after Freddie Milton, Michael Rees, and after Michael Rees...
And she had that fling with Enrico Cardinali, didn't she? It was in all the newspapers.
I always thought he was rather light on his feet.
No, he was rather a clumsy man. Did you know him, Reggie? He looked like an umbrella that had blown inside out.
Shut up, Sissy.
It's an outrage, insensitive and unfeeling. Surely they were aware.
You never know, you know what they're like.
They should have consulted me. I shall write to my solicitor. I will not be treated like this. Who do they think they are? I shall leave. I shall find somewhere else. But where would I go? I've nowhere now. No one. Nowhere.
There, Reggie. NSP. And you weren't married all that long, were you?
No, not all that long.
But I always thought she was frigid.
They might have warned me.
Well, perhaps they didn't know.
If it's any consolation, she's aged terribly.
And how old could she be now?
A few years older than me.
Oh, late 80s.
No, don't be so ridiculous. Much younger. But she looks about 100. I'm going to find out what's happening. I'll be back.
What?
I really can do without this at my time of life.
You like to be left alone?
I said don't be sympathetic.
I'll go.
No, don't. And stop that humming, please. It's the most irritating habit. It's really terribly unfair. It's been so calm here, so agreeable. Now, Jean. I've tried to forget the past. I blotted her out. I don't want any more pain. I've taught myself to live in the present. Now this. It's like waking from an anaesthetic to an unfriendly face. That's why I've positively liked getting old. Age helps one to forget that which is best forgotten. In some perverse way, I've enjoyed the course of nature, the falling away of petty ambitions, the withering of ridiculous pride, and physical decay has seemed natural and inescapable. I think I can say that I've welcomed the inevitable cheerfully. I lived frugally, I ate simply, allowed myself on doctor's orders 1 glass of red wine a day, bought the occasional CD and second-hand book. I repaired my clothes and never wore the same pair of shoes 2 days running. My one indulgence was to buy from time to time my favourite cologne. I scrimped and saved, and for what purpose? So that I could afford, without strain and without charity, a decent room of my own in this house, shared with men and women, some of whom had been my colleagues, and so be cared for and allowed to enjoy a dignified and tranquil senility. Now she arrives and shatters everything. I don't want to face my failures. It seems so unfair.
Peeing 3 times nightly. It's not your cross-headed piles. And your hair goes, your teeth fall out, your eyes start watering, and it's cataracts. And you can't remember anybody's name, then you can't even remember your own name. Bloody doctors know bugger all. Have a bypass. What about a pig's valve? Pacemaker. Yeah. Oh, yeah, stop smoking. Watch your cholesterol. Lower your blood pressure. Nothing we can do for crab. Oh, no. Hit or miss, and mostly miss. And as for sex, I tell you, it's adios, Speedy Gonzales.
They've discovered a new pill for that, haven't they?
Oh, yes. I asked Dr. Coggan for one. And she said to me, what do you want it for? I said, what do you think I want it for? And she said, oh, I'll give you something to calm you down. I said, I don't want anything to calm me down. I'm too bloody calm as it is, and that's the whole point. And she said, remind me how old you are. And I said, oh, piss off.
Wilf, Reginald, here's Jean in all her glory.
Yes, I know. How are the mighty fallen?
Tactless as ever. You haven't changed a jot.
Didn't I say so? She still looks like a young girl. You'll feel terribly out of place here. We're all decrepit, and you look as you always did, youthful and glowing.
How sweet you both are. Reggie? It's me, Jean.
I know who you are.
Please don't be hard on me, Reggie, after all these years. I can't bear it.
He's upset. He wasn't warned you were coming.
I'm not upset.
It's entirely my fault, Reggie. I didn't want any fuss. But you know what the media are like. If they'd learned I'd ended up here, they'd gloat. That was clumsy of me.
No. Just par for the course.
I'm surprised the media still have any interest in you.
It's very cruel of you, Reggie. I hope you haven't become cruel.
Yes, well, you'd know all about cruelty, wouldn't you?
Well, you were never cruel. You were always kind and gentle and unassertive.
Unassertive, that's right. Rake over the ashes.
As a matter of fact, and this will obviously surprise you, I continue to cut a figure. The other night I was George's guest at Covent Garden. As I entered the box, I received an ovation. So gratifying. Say something kind to me, Reg. If I'm to live here, we shall have to be friends. And if not friends, then let us at least be polite to one another. I shall have to sit. I'm on the waiting list for a hip. Reggie, dearest, don't make this more difficult than it needs to be. I knew you were a resident here and that my presence might cause you difficulties.
Difficulties? Difficulties?
I had no alternative, believe me, so please, let me say what I have to say. I apologize for hurting you. Please be kind to me. We were different people then. There, I've been practicing that all week.
Well, Frank White's here, but I don't think for much longer. Just sent him away. He's not at all her.
I liked your father. When he heard that you'd left me, he telephoned and said, "Sorry, old chap, but count your blessings. I'm married to her mother." He's gone too, I suppose.
Yes, he died before Mummy. They were both so proud of me. Not a day goes by when I don't think about them. I liked your parents, but they didn't approve of me.
No.
Mummy also ended up in a home in Hove. Such a mournful sound, Hove. I vowed I'd never end up the same way, and yet here I am. Reggie, we both have to live here. What are we going to do?
Press the cliche button and say make the best of it. What else can we do?
I apologize for hurting you. Please be kind to me. We were different people then. There, I've been rehearsing that for the past week.
You said it before. You're repeating yourself.
Am I? God, please stop me if I do it again. I mean it, nevertheless.
Mean what?
That I'm truly, truly sorry that I hurt you so much. I suffered terrible remorse, but I was young and impetuous, and I was so shocked. What I did was unforgivable.
Oh, stop it, Jean, stop it at once. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to remember. When Sissy announced that you were here, I reacted rather too sharply, and even more sharply when I first saw you. The depth of my feelings took me by surprise. But I'm over it now. I'm too old to relive ancient history. I can't be bothered anymore. It's too tiring and totally pointless. You're here, I'm here, trapped. That's all there is to it.
I knew our marriage would be a disaster the moment Daddy led me down the aisle.
Did you?
Yes, when I saw the priest. He had sunken cheeks and great rings under his eyes. He had the haunted look of a child molester. Not a good omen. Poor Wretchy.
Don't ever say that again either.
Now we are old.
Yes, now we are.
How do you pass your time here?
I listen to music. I read. I enjoy the company of my friends. I don't want to become institutionalized, so I try not to watch television. I'm writing my autobiography. If I need to tire myself, I think about art. And if I need to exhaust myself, I think about life. But art is my chief preoccupation. Its meaning, its significance, its ability to educate and enthrall, to inspire and civilize. Bitch! See her, there she goes! See her, Angelique, the wardress, dressed in white by the box hedge, calls herself a nurse. See her, bitch, cow, fat-ass twat! She won't give me marmalade at breakfast. She gives everyone else marmalade except me. She gives me apricot jam. I hate apricot jam. She does it deliberately. Bitch, cow! Art is the medicine of mankind, Jean. What is its spring? Ernest Newman's right. It's not poetical. I've come to the conclusion that the true fountainhead of art is life itself. Life in all its diversity, beauty, ugliness. No, that's not right. It's too pompous, pretentious, affected. Oh, it's so hard to define.
Husband's money. When I first married Nigel Harris,
What did he do?
rag trade. A widower and a great lover of opera. He was at all the parties. Oh, it's a banal little story. I was always hopeless with money. I was told he was very wealthy. He courted me. I encouraged him shamelessly. We were married. He had a flat in Eaton Square. He was wonderful company. One evening, just before Christmas, we were dressing to go out for dinner. He complained of indigestion. I went into the bathroom to fetch him medicine, and when I returned, he was lying on the floor. His lawyer came to see me. The flat was rented. Seems he wasn't as wealthy as I've been led to believe. So there you are. I didn't want to come here, but I had no choice.
But what about your children? Didn't you and Michael Reese have children?
Yes, Christopher and Emma, they're darlings. They've promised to visit. You'll meet them.
Can't they help?
No, not really. Christopher's a vicar.
A vicar? Really?
Yes, plays guitar, C of E in Lowestoft. He got the calling when I ran off with Enrico Cardinali. Do you remember Enrico?
Yes, a bass.
Bass by voice, bass by nature. I'm a bad picker of men.
Oh, thank you.
And Emma's married to a school teacher, so of course they're as poor as church mice, but they both have children. I have 6 grandchildren.
And here you are.
Yes, on charity. Me, on charity. I have nothing, Reggie. Nothing. My clothes and jewels and a hip that hurts like hell. Why do we have to get old?
That's a very silly question. Why
did you retire so suddenly? He's a spiritualist. He believes the dead don't die, but simply go into the next room.
Yes, well, you can tell him from me I've looked in the next room and there's never anybody there.
What did he want? I had it a moment ago. Oh, yes, yes, I've got it. It's come back. So exciting. He wants us to sing the Quartet from Rigoletto on Verdi's birthday gala on the 10th of October.
Damn fool idea.
But it's a great honour, Jean.
It's a great honour. The four of us, average age 198, singing the Quartet from Rigoletto is not an honour, sissy. It's insanity.
But everybody has to do something for the gala.
Why?
Because they do, that's why. Everyone has to do something, and our Rigoletto was rather famous. I was listening to it this morning. We were all so good. That's why they've reissued us.
Well, I wish they would.
Well, what am I to tell Cedric?
You should only wear chiffon at night.
No, about the gala.
Dear, I should say Jeanie's on a knife edge.
They were probably still there when I gave my last performance.
Not unlikely. She made a very fine Violetta.
Oh, please, don't talk such rubbish. Violetta is supposed to be dying of tuberculosis, and Langley looked as though she was singing full staff.
In those days, we were built differently.
I'm not interested in those days.
If we do decide to sing, we'll need a repetiteur.
Well, Bobby Swanson, he'd been enormous help. Still a pretty good pianist. I bet he could manage it.
I think it could be a great occasion. The first time the four of us have sung together in goodness knows how long.
I say no, and I mean no. We'd sound like four cats mating.
Ooh, a gangbang!
I'm going to put this to the vote. Now, what's the general feeling? Do we sing the Quartet from Rigoletto at Verdi's birthday gala, or do we not?
No!
2 to 1, we do it.
I'm not bound by your stupid rules.
They're not my rules, Jean. It's the way democracy works. The majority
You have
decides.
taken leave of your senses. This is not a political party. We are 4 individuals. I say no, and I mean no, and that's that. Democracy has nothing to do with art.
Alas, that's very true.
But it's a great honour to be given the finale, Jean. I never imagined in my wildest dreams that I would sing in the finale at Verdi's birthday gala.
And it's your arrival, Jean, that's made it possible.
Oh, let's stop rehearsing today, now, immediately.
No! I say no, and I mean no. I will not sing Gilda or anything else. Please listen to what I have to say.
We're listening.
I can't. I don't know how to explain.
Try. We've all the time in the world.
I think you'll all admit my voice was much admired. I have a memory of that voice. I remember what it was like to hear myself floating effortlessly. Yes, effortlessly, as though the...
Lunch, Jane, hurry! Otherwise the mashed potatoes will all be gone. Now, I've been preparing an argument which I believe may yet help her to confront her present reality. I believe I could make her change her mind. Oh, Sissy, wait.
It's so hard always trying to see the good in people.
What happened?
She threw something at me.
Who did?
Jean, of course. Dr. Coggan's given me a pill to calm me down.
Dr. Coggan would.
Tell us all about it, andante espressivo.
Well, after she took to her room yesterday, or was it the day before?
No, yesterday I think, but wasn't it?
It doesn't matter. Go on, Sissy.
Well, in the afternoon before tea, I knocked on her door. No reply, but I could hear her crying.
Crying again. She really is in a bad way.
I tried the door, but it was locked.
Oh, Sissy, what?
I think I'm going to sit down. I feel a little dizzy.
But why did you scream?
Because I thought I'd try again.
Try what again?
To see Jean. I don't like to see her upset. I don't like to see anyone upset. You see, at dinner last night, Anne Langley reported something very odd.
Thought she'd lost weight.
Yesterday, Anne happened to be in the kitchen.
Oh, wonder why.
Well, she was peeling something or other when out of the window Anne saw Jean get into a taxi. And Mr. What's his name?
Yes,
The village.
Dunworth.
Yes.
Smells of naphthalene.
Yes, Mr. Dunworth. And then, not more than 20 minutes later, Anne saw Jean return, clutching a gift wrap package. Well,
Just a thought.
I have come to apologise to Sissy.
Jesus.
I also want to apologise to you and Wilfred for my behaviour yesterday.
Don't remember you throwing anything at us.
Please don't make fun of me. And I've brought you a gift, Reggie. Well, open it.
Oh, Jean, marmalade. Just what I wanted.
I also want to explain something.
You changed your mind about the birthday gala?
No,
You told yourself.
I feel I must explain why I am so opposed to it. But for you, you must do as you think best. But for myself, I've had time to think.
oh, it's such a shame. Cedric said we could use some of the old Carl Rosa costumes. He did tell me who had left them to us, but I can't think of it now. But the year 1961 sticks in my brain. They've even got a hump for Wilf, he said. Oh, I do wish Jean would change her mind.
Well, I won't.
Oh, Jean! Was it very awful in Krishnapur?
Oh, God.
It's lime marmalade, my favourite. You remembered. You've touched me deeply. Such an original present.
I apologise for losing my rags, Sissy. I've cried more in the past 2 days than in all my life.
Well, you could stop now. We're doing the trio from the barber.
Please try to see this from my point of view. Hope I can remember everything I want to say. I was somebody
We
once.
were all somebody once.
I thought I was somebody now.
But I shone brightest in the firmament.
Yes, you were a great star. Yes, we know.
Yes, I was. Please don't disparage me. It's not easy being me now.
Was it ever? Oh, don't go. Please, I apologise. I won't be facetious.
Spring. I think we're awfully lucky to be here. I do, I really do.
Well, I don't. I had hoped my last years would be quite different.
And they're not, and that's just how it is. It's best to accept it.
And best to accept that one of the traditions of this place is to celebrate the birth of Giuseppe Verdi on the 10th of October. And we do so by getting up a little concert in which we all take part.
It's grotesque and obscene.
Don't be so aggressive. God, you haven't changed. You never think, you never draw breath, you just bulldoze over people's feet.
Yes, and I don't intend to change. Why should I?
Well, there's no reason, except you'll feel better if you do.
I expect she's missing sunnier climes.
It's my opinion that performing again, albeit once a year, to an audience of our fellow residents, to members of staff, the odd visitor, is a way of reaffirming our existence.
Nonsense.
It's not nonsense. We, all of us living in this house, were born with a musical gift. Ours was the singular ability to raise our voices in song. Now, many years on, old age has thrown us together at a time when our voices are nothing more than a fond memory, like us. But what harm is there in pretending to recapture what we once were, however inadequately, on the...
Happened to inhabit. That somebody I once was shone in the firmament.
You're repeating yourself.
Oh, shut up, Reggie. With the passage of time, her light has grown dim and is now extinguished.
Who are we talking about now?
We're talking about me.
Jean Horton, that was.
Yes, Jean Horton, that was. I will do nothing to tarnish the memory of what she achieved. The very thought that I should now even attempt her. It's unthinkable.
Let go, Jean. Let go. There's no holding on to these things. Face reality for once in your life. We're alive now. Make the most of it. Make the most of these days, these hours, this moment. Oh, to hell with the Jean Horton that was. Live now, for God's sake.
We're alive. Let's celebrate that. We're artists. We're meant to celebrate life. What else were we doing for all those years? It's an obligation. Sing with us. Angelique! Angelique! Yes, sing with us. And I promise you'll be eternally grateful. Yes, eternally. Oh, to hell with the people we once were.
When did any of you last sing? Never mind the sound you carry in your head. When did anyone ever hear you sing? Have you any conception of the sound you now make? Do you really want to be a laughing stock?
Is she right, Reggie? Is it all madness? Is everything poisoned? What if we sound like motor cars that won't start? I don't want them laughing at us. I don't want them whispering, Sissy Robson, Sissy Robson, Sissy Robson.
Do you realise I haven't sung a note in over 30 years?
Why did you retire so young?
Had no choice.
I thought that was exactly what you did have. I thought you chose to be a wife and mother.
I had my first child late. How old was I? Over 30. A week or two after Christopher was born, I was offered Mimi at the Met. I accepted. Although I hadn't sung for almost a year, I knew the role, of course, but I decided to do some work on it. I asked Mona Ross to put me through my paces. She arrived. Dear Mona, such a lovely voice in her day, and later a wonderful teacher. She came bustling in, full of good cheer as always, sat down at my Steinway, played an arpeggio or two, and then struck a chord. I drew breath, and I tried to sing. No sound came out. She struck the note again with her forefinger. She always had such beautifully manicured nails. I remember I couldn't take my eyes off her finger, hammering out the note again and again. My mouth was open, but as hard as I tried, I couldn't produce any sound at all except for a sort of choking silence. I have never felt such terror in all my life. Doctors were summoned. I saw Norman Hunt. He said there was nothing wrong with my vocal cords. I just simply couldn't sing. I even saw a psychiatrist, a professor.
It was on a long piece of string.
Perhaps it's round your neck.
Oh, yes, here it is. Oh, clever Reggie.
I should have frisked you.
And you haven't told anybody what we're up to?
Certainly not. I know how to keep a secret. I know all sorts of things I've never told another human soul. Bobby Swanson came at me like a wasp anxious to sting, and he poked me with his white stick, which is really a conductor's baton, and asked me all sorts of questions.
Such as?
He wanted to know who was going to rehearse us, and I said we didn't need anybody. And he laughed in a scornful sort of way and said, well then, who's going to accompany you? And I said Reggie was. Oh. And he laughed again and said, well, while he's singing and with one finger. And then I said, and I don't know why I said this, but I said, well, if you really want to know, we're importing a pianist. And he said, from where? And I said, New Delhi.
New Delhi? What did he say to that?
I said, I look forward to hearing the quartet from Rigoletto, accompanied on a sitar.
Got it.
Yeah, smells of Mr. Dunwell.
Isn't this exciting? It's like opening an old trunk in the attic and dressing up on a winter's afternoon.
I wonder who designed this.
Not Oliver Nessel, that's for sure.
They're very faded.
Oh, I think they're lovely.
They are not lovely. They are deeply unattractive.
You said there was a hut. Where is
I refuse to wear them. We shall have to do it in modern dress.
Oh, no, Jean, that would be awful.
Yes, and I agree with Sissy.
I refuse to appear in tat. Get someone to make me something. Sissy, you always look like you made your own clothes. Run me up something. These are unwearable.
Good Lord, these tights have a label. Look, Enrico Cardinali, 1952.
Enrico never sang with Carl Rosa.
Well, his tights are here.
Well, perhaps he took them off when he was visiting, you know what he was like.
How odd, Enrico's tights.
He had lovely legs, I remember. And he was also so manly.
That was because he wore a codpiece underneath, as I remember. Most of us just used socks. I was a free sock man myself.
I didn't think you knew Enrico.
Yes, right on.
Oh, it must have been after we...
In a funny sort of way, he was quite an attractive man.
I never understood what women saw in him. Thick as two short cracks, couldn't read a note of music. Bobby Swanson worked with him and said it took him 7 months to teach him God Save the Queen.
And I remember that. God, one's memory is a total mystery.
But what was the name of the film?
What film?
I'm going to expose myself in a minute.
The film about the war.
Oh, now, I can see it now. Jean Gabin in...
Give us a clue.
Oh, to hell with this! I'm not going on with this. Let's forget all about it.
Oh, Reg, don't be like that. We're listening, aren't we? We are.
As you may remember...
What about makeup?
I beg your pardon.
Well, who's going to do our makeup?
You will have to do it yourself. Now, please just shut up.
Don't talk to me like that. I have never done my own makeup, and I do not intend to start now.
Then don't wear any.
What? What? Appear without makeup?
Gee, I'll do it for you.
God, this is going to be amateur night in the Turkish bath.
I'm not absolutely sure what that means.
Gina, I'll do it for you. Glad, yes, and I'm sorry. He was a dreadful disappointment. But then they all were. I was never quite able to be fulfilled. I can't put it any more delicately than that.
Was that whilst I was still with him?
Yes.
I thought Enrico was gay.
Oh, he was, but he kept trying not to be. He was Catholic, you see. He confessed to me. One of those awful confessions where you lie side by side in the dark, and he begins by saying, "This has never happened to me before," and then it all came out.
Why is it all the most attractive men are gay?
Because they treat one as a person and not as a garment to be worn.
Do you think Reggie's gay?
No.
How can you be so sure? You won't have had a ding-dong with him, I know that.
Certainly not. It's not my type at all. Much too genteel. And his antennae are never up. He gives off no scent. I like my men to be manly. Alas, that's a very rare quality in a man.
Do me up, will you?
But why are you, of all people, asking me about Reggie? After all, you were married.
Yes, but not for long enough.
How long?
Exactly 9 hours.
9 hours?
Shh! I hear you. It's too humiliating.